Hi everyone, it's Stephanie with Maureen Bradley Designs here with you today. I have a new tutorial for you, and so this tutorial is going to feature these confetti seed bead ropes. These are Miyuki seed beads in size 11, and if you haven't seen, I had uploaded these, I think it's a couple weeks now, onto my social media and website. So these are called confetti coin necklaces. So I have one in Copper Poppy and one in Sunshine Gold. And they have a little bit of Austrian crystals, opals, coin pearls, and then of course the beautiful butterfly coin pendants. So today's tutorial is going to focus on that same confetti style rope, but only we're turning it into some ocean inspiration for you today. So I made this bracelet with the same rope. And I love this style tutorial because you can make a long necklace, you can make a short necklace, you can make bracelets. I think you can even make earrings with it. So I added some little ocean inspired charms. I'm planning on making a few more of these in ocean inspired colors, beach style colors. So look for that. These are going to be the necklaces are already on the MaureenBradleyDesigns.com website if you're interested. And then the bracelets will be coming soon as I release them to social media. So with that being said, let's get started. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you on the mat. All right, so this is the seed bead rope that we're going to be making today, except we're going to be using some turquoise and some carnation pink and AB white Miyuki beads. I used similar beads in these ropes to make this necklace. So basically you're looking at what you're winding around, just making sure you can see, in the rope. The yellow is going to equal to the turquoise here as A. Green is B. And then this consistent pink here that you see in this rope is C. So you have 3 different colors of seed beads to make the confetti look in this rope. So let's get started. I'm going to put this right here so you can look at it, and I'm just making sure I have plenty of space. Okay, so some supplies you're going to need. You're going to need 3 types of I'm using Miyuki seed beads. These are Delicate 11s. Get that in the camera there. Miyuki 11 Delicas, and I've got it in a turquoise, a carnation pink, and this is a white seed bead with an AB coating on it. And AB stands for Aurora Borealis. I'm also using some Ceylon thread. This is some fine Ceylon thread. I have a little bit of wax, and I have a hopefully you can see it. It's a very thin needle because you're going to be passing through the seed beads several times, so you need a thin needle, beading needle. All right, and then some scissors to cut your thread. So I have picked out some Ceylon in a matching color of my core. Remember the letter A seed bead is the yellow here, so that's going to correspond to this one is going to be the blue. So I picked out a blue to match my core color, and then I just take it and I run it through a little bit of the beeswax. Just giving it a light coating so that it keeps it from knotting up on me. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle, and I'll be right back. All right. So I've got my needle threaded, and I'm ready to start making the seed bead rope. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stopper bead. And I'm just going to pick up a white bead, and I'm going to bring it all the way to the end of my thread, leaving about 8 to 10 inches. So I've got this on my finger on the thread, and I'm just bringing the needle back through that white bead, pulling the rest of the remainder of the thread out, and as you can see, it creates a stop bead. So my rope isn't going to go anywhere or come unraveled. Yeah. All right, so remember we talked about A, B, and C. A is turquoise, B is carnation pink, and C is the white. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up 4 A's. 1, 2, 3, 4 on my needle. I want to pick up 1 B, 1 C, and another B. And I'm going to bring those all the way down to my stopper bead so that it looks like so. And then I'm bringing my thread around my finger because I want to take my needle and I want to go back through these 4 letter A's, the turquoise beads, like so. And I'm going to bring that thread all the way through so that your pink, white, and pink bead are going to be right next to the turquoise beads, right in front of them, just like that. So there's the start. All right. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to pick up an A, a B, a C, and another B. And we want to bring that all the way down again so that it's sitting on top of the turquoise beads like that. So now you're going to go back through the last 3 and the turquoise A that you just added. 1, and then I have found that if we sort of line them up a little bit, it makes it easier, just like that, on your needle. See that there? You're going to bring that thread all the way through back down, just like you did the previous pink, white, and pink bead. And that layer is going to sit right on top. I'm just making sure I'm in the camera. Right on top of the previous pink, white bead. And you can move everything together. And you want to make sure you're stacking these pink, white, and pink layers on top of each other. That is what's going to create the little twist that goes around the core color. All right, I'm just getting my seed beads everywhere. All right, here we go. Let's do it again. I'm going to put this down. And before I forget too, from time to time, you might want to take your finger and just run it along like I just did and smooth out your seal-on. We are going to repeat this step over and over again, and that is the pattern. So we're going to pick up an A, B, a C, and a B, and bring it all the way down, just like you did. And you're going to repeat, placing your needle through the last 4 of the turquoise beads. And bringing everything through your thread and making sure the pink, white, and pink, that's BCB, land on top of each other. And you just I just take my fingers, and that's it right there. That is your pattern. And you keep doing that until whatever desired length you want. Maybe you want just a bracelet. Maybe you want a 16-inch necklace. Maybe you want a 20-inch necklace. Or maybe you want to make 2 inches for a pair of earrings, because this does fold really easily. Look at that. It's very limber, right? So now, again, I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to go through those last 4 turquoise. And I was saying that it does help to kind of line everything up so that your needle goes through easily. You don't want to force your needle, because if you force your needle, you could pop one of those Miyuki beads. And then, I don't know, you might have to do the whole thing over again. I wouldn't want a hole or a space on mine. So there we go. And if your stopper bead comes loose, then you can just push them down together. I'm going to keep working. And you just want to keep repeating the pattern like so. All right, I am back for the next segment of this video to share with you how to finish the stitch piece. So I've completed stitching my bracelet piece, and I wanted to show you that I've measured it at around 6 inches, just a little bit over maybe. And just in comparison, I really love these JBB end caps. For these pieces that I showed you in the beginning, of this video, I shared with you that I used these end caps, and they fit also very nicely inside of the tiara cast end pieces. I do know that tiara cast is supposedly going out of business, so there may not be too many around. So I did find these JBB end caps, and I thought that they looked most fabulous on the end, and they slide in most nicely on there. So when you're measuring things and getting the accurate measurement for your bracelet, you'll see that you need to take into consideration what you're going to be putting on the end of your bracelet or necklace. So you can see those slide in like that. And when I put those on, my bracelet's going to come to about 6.5 inches, which leaves me about an inch for the clasp. My wrist is a 7.5 inch wrist, so I typically designed for 7.5 inches, which is a standard measurement, unless I'm asked otherwise. If I'm asked otherwise, then I will design accordingly. So you want to take into consideration your clasp, and also jumper rings that you're going to add, and then the end caps that you're going to use to fit your wrist or someone that you're designing for. Alright, so I also have some B7000 that I'm going to be gluing this in, but before we do that, I'm going to take those off. I've already gone ahead and threaded my needle, and I want to show you how to finish this end cap. Now, you can do it this way, that I'm going to show you, which is just tying the end off, or you can add a loop of seed beads, and that can be your connection as well. In this case, I wanted to go ahead and add a finished end cap to it, to give it a little bit, to add some gold or some silver. I thought would be really nice. Alright, so I'm just getting this camera, and I'm just going to add my needle underneath that top thread there. And before I go, I just want to make sure everything's snug. So I'm going to grab that loop there and put my needle under it and pull it to where I have a loop on the end, just like that. And I'm going to feed my needle through, and that gives me an overhand knot, and I want to make sure that that knot is happening right at that loop, just like that. And you're going to snug it up, and we're going to go one more time. So I'm going to feed that under, and what we're doing here is a surgeon's knot. So I'm creating another loop, just like so, and I'm going to go one time, and I'm going to go 2 times, and that is going to create my surgeon's loop right there at that loop, and that's going to tie everything off, and I'm getting it snug. And then we're just going to hide our stitch or our thread, and you can feed your thread through. Whoops, I've got a little bit of a hiccup there. You're going to feed your thread through, just like that, and hide your knot. And then you're just going to keep hiding your thread on down. And sometimes I go in the little twist, or I go here in the little blue beads and the turquoise beads. And if you want to tie another knot a little ways down, it's perfectly fine as well to make it a little more secure. I'm just going to hide my thread here. If I can see those barrels right there, those little seed bead barrels, and get my needle in there. I can get a look at it, and I'm going to bend it over just a little bit to get my needle in. And I would not force anything. If something doesn't want to go through, find a different path, because you can pop those seed beads. And sorry, I have my thumb there, but you can see I've pulled it through the blue beads, the turquoise beads. And I'm just going to keep feeding it on down until I've hidden it for about an inch or 2, however you feel comfortable. Some people like to really feed it on down, and it kind of reinforces the piece. I just stabbed my finger. Boy, if I had $1 for every time I've done that. All right, there we go. You can see I'm just adding it into that blue bead there. So I'm going to keep doing that, and I'm going to come on the other end, and I'm going to take that stopper bead off, and I'm going to tie it off and feed my thread down on that end. And then I'll be back to glue the end caps in. All right, I finished both of stitching and finishing off my ends, tying my knots and feeding thread on down into my piece. And I've added one of the end caps to this side, and now I'm going to share with you how I do this side. I've got some B7000 glue, and I'm just going to add the glue down into the well of the cap. Right down in there, I'm just going to put a bunch in the bottom. Just making sure I can see so I can get it in there. Oops, excuse me. You don't want to add so much that it comes oozing out of the piece. Just enough so that it's going to grab onto the end. And I'm just going to add it in there so it fits. Like so, and then I am going to take it out to make sure I am getting the glue on it. So I've got it on there in multiple spots. Great. And I'm just pushing it on in there so that I've got the cap covered. Making sure, and really you just want to let that set. I'm going to let mine set for 24 hours. Before I go to finish it. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back to finish it. I think you're going to like the finished look that we do. I'll be back. All right, we are back to finish this rope style bracelet, ocean style bracelet, and we have our end caps in place, and they have completed drying. And so I'm just giving it a little tug to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere once I put my clasp on, and everything looks secure in there. So now let's assemble this bracelet. So I wanted to point out, I did bring 2 clasps, but I'm not going to use this one. I was looking for everything to really match my end caps. So I wanted that bright gold look. But I really wanted to use this clasp, so I just wanted to point that out, that these are called Almost Instant Jewelry, and they make crystals that go in there, and I thought that would be so pretty to add a little bit of sparkle to my rope bracelet, but the gold just didn't happen this time. So maybe in another bracelet that I make, I'll have that this color gold. So right now I found this one. This box clasp has a nice lacy look to it, and I like that it matched my gold end caps. But just pointing out that this would have been a beautiful option with some Austrian crystal in it. Would have been so pretty. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is adding some chain to this bracelet. And I wanted to tell you about years ago. I'm probably dating myself and telling my age, but that's okay. Years ago, I think like back in the 70s and 80s even, maybe even 90s. I don't remember when I stopped seeing it. So that's, but I guess the other thing is that I don't really see it currently on bracelets. But basically, I'm just going to use this as a catch chain. And basically, you add it to your clasp, and it acts as a catch in the event that your clasp breaks. So if your clasp would break and you didn't have that, then it would just fall away and you could lose your bracelet. So the thought behind this catch chain is that your clasp can break, but your bracelet is still on your wrist. And you don't lose your bracelet. All you have to do is replace your clasp. So I'm sort of taking that idea and I'm sort of using it as that, but I'm also using it as a decorative means to be able to add some charms to this. Because this is really rather dainty. And when you put it on the wrist, It's, I mean, it's just beautiful on its own. So I didn't want to add any charms to the rope. I wanted the rope to stand by itself. So since this is an ocean-inspired theme, I went ahead and pulled some charms. I have a starfish, a mermaid, and a sand dollar. So I'm going to add those. And this is about a 2.5 inch piece of chain that I have. Yeah, 2.5 inches. About 25 links of this chain that also matched my end caps. And then I have 4mm jump rings, and I have 5mm jump rings. The 5mm I'm going to use with my clasp, and the 4mm I'm going to use with my charms. All right, so let's get started and assemble. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to go ahead and attach the chain and the clasp. So I need these 5mm jump rings. I have some that were opened already because I probably tried them with something else and I just didn't end up using them. So I'm adding the chain, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my clasp, and I'm opening them from front to back, and I'm going to close them from front to back. And then I'm just making sure that they have a snug fit. There should be no gap in your jump ring. All right. So then make this come around like so. I'm just making sure you can see. And then, so I'm going to add, and you can see how the catch chain works. And you only need enough to where you can get it onto your wrist. You don't want a long piece of chain because then it'll catch on something. We just want enough chain to where we can roll the bracelet onto the wrist. So let's add this other side. If I can get that other one's open, that'll work perfectly. So I tend to leave them open if I've used them before, but so that it's not getting any wear and tear. That's why it's like that. Okay, let me think through this. And if I'm going to add this, then I want to go ahead and add my chain, and I want to make sure there's no kinks in it. So I'm adding my chain. It looks good. And then I'm going to add the other half of my clasp here. Does it not want to go? All right, so then I'm just going to take my chain nose pliers, and I'm just going to, actually, one sec, I'm going to get my bead reamer. All right, so I have gotten my bead reamer, and I'm just going to open that little loop just a little bit. All right. We'll see if that'll go through now. Perfect. All right. So let me take that off. I was putting this side on. I had it all laid out. All right. Okay, so I'm going to add this side. Oh, my mat's getting all pushed away. Okay. And then I added my chain, and now I can add my loop in there. Fits perfect. And again, I'm closing from front to back, making sure that there's no gaps. All right. And now we have this pretty little bracelet with a chain. So I'm going to show you once I open my clasp, that's what it looks like. And then again, you just want enough to where you can feed the bracelet on. Oops. And then you're going to add your clasp like so. And then your chain dangles down like so. So we just want it big enough to where it can fit on your wrist. All right, let's finish. Okay, add that back. All right, And then all we have left to do really is to add our little charms. And I think what I'm going to do here is just find my center point here. Is it this one? So I can add, or is it this one? Okay. So I'm taking a 4mm jump ring. I have one that's open. And I'm going to add my mermaid to it. And then I'm just going to slide the jump ring in. And again, I want to close that jump ring and make sure there's no gaps, like so. So now I've got my mermaid on it. Oops. And then, let's see, I need to move it over. Hang on and I'll move it over. All right, so holding it up actually helped me find the center. So I just readjusted the mermaid. And now all I need to do is finish by adding another 4mm jump ring. And I'm going to finish my starfish and sand dollar. And I'm going to add it directly to the chain. So I open from front to back. I'm adding the sand dollar on. And then I'm just adding, hopefully you can see, I'm just adding the jump ring to the link that's attached right there next to my other jump ring. That first link there. Closing again from front to back, making sure there's no gaps. And then I'm laying it down so that everything faces the same way so that I can add the starfish. Whoops. There we go. There we go. So then I'm just going to open this one. Oh, I had it the right way. This way. And again, adding my, alright, so I'm adding, making sure they're all facing the same way. There we go. Yep. I feel like I'm all thumbs trying to finish this. Alright, here we go. Okay. And just closing it. There we are. And that's the bracelet with the charms. How pretty, right? And that's everything right there. Let's see. Oh, still too far down. Okay. There we go. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed showing you how to make this beautiful bracelet. If you do like my video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up, like, and also subscribe. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for being with me, and until next time.